Harry Potter happens to be one of my most revisited works of fiction while growing up. A common assertion I often hear about the character that always bothered me, usually from the lesser informed, those who consume the product to a rational and healthy degree, is that Harry fits the trope of being a chosen one character. A character destined to save the world, who possess abilities beyond his peers. And yeah, Harry was literally known as the chosen one at one point in the story.
She's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one.
And do for sure have some quite unique capabilities. But I do think this narrative is heavily overblown. If you look closer at the story and the character, the realization sets in that Harry is not really that exceptional, that he is quite an ordinary wizard, and that much of what makes him special can sensibly be explained. So let me first lay out the two questions I'm here to break down. First, is Harry Potter destined to be the hero of the story? And secondly, has Harry been blessed with powers that makes this possible? Let's start with the first question. Is defeating Lord Voldemort and save the day Harry Potter's destiny? Of course, this all goes back to Trelawney's prophecy that bound Harry and Voldemort's fate. Either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. But through the story, a lot of doubt is cast on it. Dumbledore himself questions its legitimacy, proposing the idea that this prophecy is nothing more than a self-fulfilling prophecy driven by Voldemort's eager to see it through. We also have the fact that the prophecy never specifically pointed towards Harry. It could just as well have been Neville Longbottom. With all this in hand, an argument could be made that the prophecy that set Harry and Voldemort's paths towards each other is a whole lot more coincidental than what it first seems. That instead of a god figure sending a prophecy appointing a chosen one, it was just circumstances that allowed Harry to fill this role.
But I am the chosen one.
So let's switch over to the second question. Do Harry possess great innate talent, or is he more regular? I would say, based off Harry's stay at Hogwarts, the message that comes across is that Harry is not much more than a pretty average student. After completing the ordinary wizarding level, Owl, we do get knowledge of his grades in the Half-Blood Prince. They are not exceptionally great, not like Hermione's. Harry's grades are closer to Ron's. They are the ones on a similar level. This is a far cry from the super mighty genius OP powerhouses that are Dumbledore and Voldemort. The two characters truly blessed with outstanding ability. Even Harry's both parents are often described to be two of the best students of their grade, so even in comparison to his parents, Harry seems kind of weak and non-special. However, there is one subject where Harry succeeds incredibly well, even managing to top Hermione: defense against the dark arts. Surely this must be proof of some natural ability, proof that Harry was born to defend against the evils of the world.
Come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started. Together.
Even Hermione, who works so hard to be the best, could not win this one. My answer? No, from what we see in the story, this makes perfect sense. Harry does not need an innate ability for defense against the dark arts because he has practiced it harder than anyone else, including Hermione. This development started back in the third book, the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry received extra lessons from Professor Lupin to learn the Patronus charm, a charm with a difficulty level beyond his years.
Expecto Patronum!
In the following book, The Goblet of Fire, Harry is forced to compete in the Triwizard Tournament. This means he has to compete with older students with a higher understanding of magic. To keep up, Harry practiced diligently in private with spells and charms he has yet to learn in class. In Order of the Phoenix, Harry takes up the responsibility of teaching other students defense against the dark arts. This puts further pressure on Harry to be one step ahead of everybody else. After all this, it is no wonder that Harry is so successful at the subject as he is. He is superb in defense against the dark arts not because he was born to be, but because he practiced, trained, and worked at it.
But I am the chosen one.
Even with this skill, it is still far too little to overcome a master of the arts like Lord Voldemort. When Harry finally defeats Voldemort and saves the day, it is not because he is more skillful or powerful. In the final confrontation, Harry has to use a loophole that gives him an unfair advantage in the fight. Voldemort's wand is loyal to him, or something like that. It is because in the end, Harry is just an ordinary student and not the all-powerful Dark Lord like Voldemort. A Harry could never beat a Voldemort in a fair fight. A Dumbledore could, but not a Harry.
But I am the chosen one.
Of course, we have some exceptions. A few special abilities Harry have that no one else have. His personal shield protecting him from Voldemort given to him in consequence of his mother's sacrifice, and the connection with Voldemort brought on by Voldemort himself by accidentally infusing a Horcrux upon him. But these are still not attributes Harry was born with. They came to him because of Lord Voldemort's assassination attempt. The only real pure talent Harry inexplicably have is his knack for broomsticks and Quidditch. Something that ironically never really comes into play in Harry's quest to defeat Lord Voldemort. In the end, what I really think makes Harry special inside his story and what really contributes to him becoming the hero is his courageousness, selflessness, and grit. How he never gives up and always fights the good fight. It is the attributes that drive his personality that really determines his fate. The argument is that Harry Potter is not about a destined hero with special powers, but a story about a regular, average boy that of happenstance is forced to step up and become a hero. You know, like in 90% of all anime.
But I am the chosen one.
The message ultimately becomes that character is more important than natural-born talent. To round back to where I started, this common conception that Harry is this blessed chosen one is pretty fitting because of how it is also reflected within the story. In the world of witches and wizards, both friend and foe often think of Harry in the same manner. But there is one who does not, and is equally annoyed at the public's perception of the boy who lived. This man is Lord Voldemort.
The boy who lived.
How lies have fed your legend, Harry.
In a future video, I will explore these aspects of Voldemort's psyche, this relationship between the two that often come back to being special versus not special, humility versus an enormous ego. In this character study, we will dive down to the core fundamentals of what makes Lord Voldemort tick. Thanks for watching, subscribe, comment, and follow me on Twitter for information on upcoming videos. Hej då!
But I am the chosen one. chosen one.